Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. Hey guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. Today I will be reviewing a lot of these altcoins. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert. Do your own research. So I just wanted to talk briefly about the state of the market before I get into all these different altcoins that you guys requested. I'll preface this by saying that if Bitcoin dumps, then everything else is going to dump with it. So as of right now, I feel that Bitcoin is forming a bottom. I do not think that we go lower first. If anything, if we are going to go lower, then I think we hit some liquidity higher first before that happens. So I think that what you're likely to see is if see price continue to range for a little bit longer and then grind up to 45 to 50,000 and then dump lower. That's entirely possible to like 25,000. But I do not personally believe that we are going to go to something like 25,000 right away. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the main idea is that there were already a lot of liquidations on this move down, and we need more fuel to push lower. So I think that regardless if this is up or down, if this is the bottom or not, we are going higher first. It would make a lot more sense to me that 45,000 to 50,000 comes, and this is kind of like what I've always been thinking about the last week or so, is that 45 to 50K would get tapped. And now those are some critical areas. What happens after that, I honestly have no clue. If this is the actual bottom, then we might just go even higher to like 60K and then start pulling back. Regardless, I feel that there will be some strong reactions somewhere along these 50 to 60K areas. There should be quite a bit of sellers, in my opinion, around these areas, at least for the first reaction. So I do believe that this will go and create at least a lower high at a minimum if this is going lower. But for right now, I do not believe that we are going to go to like 25,000 from here. But of course, I could be wrong. Macro environment wise, I still believe that this is not like the macro top. I would be very surprised if it's just 65,000 and that's it. I still feel that this will go higher over the summer, and it might take a few months to range, maybe not the summer, but at least the fall. But maybe we just need to hit some consolidation overall and then start to move higher. So those are my short thoughts on Bitcoin right now for the environment. I do believe that this will go higher and alts will do decently. My plan for this, though, is when Bitcoin does go to 45 to 50,000, I am going to lower some exposure on some of my altcoins. Briefly look at ETH USD. Similar to Bitcoin, I also believe that this is forming a bottom overall. Here's my fib, and I think that this is just forming a bottom at this point. I think that 2,400 or so is like a decent area of support. I do believe that this will continue to maybe range for a little bit longer, and then we'll see it go higher. Now, whether or not this like hits like a double top or not, like this will keep going up and then maybe like hits to low 4Ks and then dumps. That's entirely possible. And this is a pretty common idea and common price action in situations like this. Regardless, I do expect a reaction in the 4Ks, the low 4Ks. I think that that's highly likely to be a seller's area and possibly lower, like 3,700. But I do believe, again, this will go higher before lower myself. But ETH USD still is in a like undeniably bullish market structure, in my opinion. Like this still is a higher high. The low hasn't truly been set yet, in my opinion. I mean, you could maybe call this a low right here, around 2,400 or so. And maybe this is like a lower low now. That's a decent argument that you can make. But to me, this like was just a result of Bitcoin's nasty price action before, and like a more meaningful low is being formed now. Now we're about to see if this will make a lower high than what we saw at 4,400, but there's still a lot of levels to hit before that time. But regardless, this still is like a better looking chart in my opinion than Bitcoin. Briefly look at LTC, this got very close to all-time high levels and then dumped. And, you know, I was pretty sure it was going to hit 420, and it really pretty much did. It then just had a nasty reaction, as all altcoins did. I mean, many of them retraced like 50 to 70% or something like that over the course of like 2 weeks. And there are some inefficiencies to fill higher. So I think that this will go the way of many other altcoins in general. I think it's likely that, you know, we see some sort of lower high created on the short term, followed by like just lots of chop. And then we start to see something like this where we see some higher lows and then lower highs form. And then we see just price consolidate. This would make a lot of sense to me, something like this. But for now, I expect this to go higher first for LTC. And you are going to hear me say that a lot for a lot of these altcoins too. Like, I expect them to all pretty much be short-term bottomed out. Now, with that said, if Bitcoin does go up to like 45,000 and then dumps down to like 25,000, that's obviously a certain possibility, then these alts will just really pull back. Like, for instance, for LTC, this one would just go to like probably $100 or something like that, or lower. Like something like absolute just carnage would happen, in my opinion, like $80. If this happened, if Bitcoin went to like 25,000, it would be really rough. But anyways, let's go to some altcoin charts. This is Algorand. I was totally wrong on this. I thought that this was like some sort of consolidation. I was way wrong. I really thought that altcoins would do a lot better than they did in the spring. But a lot of them had a consolidation, but unfortunately, for a lot of reasons, I think a lot of the money actually went to like the meme coins, and that was like the market top. So obviously what we're seeing now with something like Algorand is this is really just like dumping pretty strongly overall. It's still having this range low, and it's still holding this range low for now. And right now, I think that it's likely that it will at least go to 127. I think it's like a pretty decent idea that this will go to the EQ of the range. And there's going to likely be some sort of like resistance as well in terms of the EMAs. As these probably like are right around here. Yep. So it would make sense to me this like grinds up to 127 and then dumps. But as of right now, like the 200-day EMA is like acting as like SR level. It's interacting a lot with that level. So I expect this to go to 127 and then potentially dump after that. Link USD. It looks okay to me. I thought that this was a lot more bullish than it was. This one massively moved down. I bought some bags at like 35 thinking it was an awesome like buy, and it really wasn't. So I hit underwater, and then I added some at like I think 24 or something like that. Not my best buy ever for sure. The 200-day EMA is acting as support for right now, and we are seeing some interactions with this SR level at $31. But to me, it would make sense that that's kind of like a non-level, and we see this another test at $35 again. Something like this squiggly line would make sense, like another retest of this $35 level, pull back, and then like break up. It still makes sense to me though that this level around like 43 or so is going to get tested relatively soon. Again, this should follow Bitcoin. I would expect some sort of reaction there, or possibly even higher around $50. But for now, I mean, it's a fairly neutral coin. Like, I don't think you can call this bullish or bearish. It would make sense to me that like you still see some more consolidation, and then a move up. ALGO BTC, again, one of the reasons why I was fairly bullish on this pair is because this pair really didn't move super strongly in the BTC pair since February. You saw this kind of consolidation, and many altcoins kind of look like this as well, where you see some ranging price action where price just ping-pongs around, and this 200-day EMA has acted as support for right now. And I really thought that these spring and summer would bring about a strong alt BTC pair move, like many of the alt BTC pairs, as you'll see later on. They had like a big move back in January and February, and then they just pulled back and then consolidated. But for the most part, the chart still looks pretty decent. I mean, this what you'll see usually for alt BTC pairs is you will see them either doing very, very, very well or very, very badly, or you'll also just see them just like do nothing. Like you'll see long periods of consolidation. It's pretty rare that you just see like a beautiful, like nice trend, like you kind of see with like any other coin, really, just like you know, something like Theta, where you see like a big run, like a slight pullback. You know, it's pretty rare that you just like see like this beautiful, like just regular trend that you see for every other altcoin, something like this. You don't see that for alt BTC pairs as much. You'll just see them going very, very, very strong, or they'll dump very, very hard. Like case in point right here, back in August of 2020, like massive moves up and then massive dumps down. They do consolidate, obviously, as every asset does, but you haven't really seen a whole lot of moves really in a while for ALGO BTC. So in my opinion, if you are in this one, just expect it to just kind of consolidate for a while and then just chop around, and then it should move strongly if I am correct in my assumptions that this is like the relative bottom. But again, if it's not, then this should go down, down, down. SHIB, shitcoin, but doesn't mean it won't move. That's, you definitely need to distinguish shitcoin between real coin, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter sometimes. Like if it moves, you can trade it. This probably will move pretty strongly, even though this coin literally does nothing. I don't think, like, it's just another meme coin. You could potentially argue maybe some sort of double bottom coming up. Like you could see something like this where you saw like one rounded bottom and then like another test again, another rounded bottom. So you could see maybe like a double bottom in that regard. Decent volume coming in as well, but it's likely to me that this probably like pulls back at this level here. And this is also a coin similar to Dogecoin, where I would not be surprised if it just starts like taking off like that, just because it has the potential to do that. It's important to understand which coins are able to do those types of moves. Like Dogecoin is like definitely one of them. XRP is another one of them. The coins that can just go absolutely fucking berserk and just like go wild and arguably just outperform the market. Like those types of coins are the ones to like really look for. Like BNB and Cake also kind of did that too earlier. Okay, Strong. Strong Tether USDT. Don't really know much about this coin. Looks pretty bad in the short term. It looks like it made its way all the way back to like this 85 consolidation level. And it looks like it might come back to that level again. I mean, there are some levels of support around here. It's the former swing high at $100, and that's probably a psychological number as well. This $100 level has held a few times. The sell volume is going down, which is nice to see, but overall, like I just expect this to kind of just hang around and just ping pong for a while. Probably not going to move very strongly. RUNE BTC, this one obviously did very, very strongly recently, and now it had a very, very nasty pullback. Right now, we are seeing kind of this choppy price action where price is kind of forming a bottom, where you can kind of see something like this and then go up, double top. Something like this would make a lot of sense to me. And then a reaction. But overall, I mean, it's still like a bullish trend in my opinion. Like you could maybe denote this as like the last low, and then this is a lower low. So maybe you say it broke market structure and it's just like, you know, looks bad. And I couldn't really argue with you. I mean, this like that pullback over the like week-long period was just absolutely disgusting. But Price has rebounded a little bit since then and is now kind of looking to fill this inefficiency higher. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go higher in the short term. Fetch AI looks like many other altcoins, not great. I mean, it pulled back hugely over the course, like 80% over the course of just, oh, it's terrible. Just over the course of like a few months. I mean, this is like an entire market cycle's worth of damage. Alts just really look bad in general, which is really a shame because I thought they were going to be strong. I was totally wrong on that. As of right now, it does look like it's forming a bottom. This 200-day EMA is acting as an SR level. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see this consolidate for a little bit longer and let some of the other EMAs catch up. And then you'll see some consolidation with the EMAs and price, and then this will start to move up again. But if Bitcoin does make a big move up, like I am thinking, then I expect this to also move up. Like, you know, if Bitcoin goes to like 45.50, then I fully expect this to like start going higher to like 53 cents or something like that, and then pulling back. That would make a lot of sense to me. RSR, again, I was wrong on this. Like, I thought this was like some sort of accumulation here and just consolidation, but it was distribution. Way wrong. Just absolutely wrong on this one. This one has like a very strong community. It's also very impressive to see how badly this dumped. This swing low around 3 cents or so is holding for now. And it's good to see this low hold. I don't want to see this low get lost. Very high sell volume on the way down. Yeah, this coin is just going to take some time, in my opinion. Like I think it's again likely that this one grinds up with Bitcoin. It'll break this this level of 0.46. Like this is kind of like a resistance supply zone area, and then there will be like a decent amount of resistance up higher, potentially this level here. Well, no, that's kind of bad. This level, this 0.66 level, seems like it should be a interesting level. Like it's the last up move before a big down move, whatever you want to call this, supply zone, order block, resistance, whatever you want to call it. This like looks like it should be a pretty big resistance area, in my opinion. Sushi BTC, it looks very weird because it had this big move up and then a massive pullback. I'm neutral on this coin. Like, to me, it would make sense that this fills out this gap overall. And what I mean by that is when you see like large gaps in between price usually likes to fill it out eventually. So you might see something like this. And then it should go higher. As you can see, there's not much trading volume or activity but in these areas. UTK looks bad. I don't know what to say about this thing. It looks pretty horrible. Expect some consolidation and then it should go higher up to like 57 or so. This would be like my take profit area if you are in this. I mean, when I say it looks bad, like it might take a little bit and then it should make like a lower high. I don't think it should make all-time high levels anytime soon, personally. Atom BTC doesn't look great. These lows are holding around 3,100. Yeah, I don't have any opinion on this. It's just kind of neutral. Expecting this to consolidate a little bit more, and then it should make a big move after that. Don't really see a clear direction for this chart though. I can't really see a trade myself either. I mean, an aggressive entry might be like something like this. Like you enter around here and then just like hope that price continues to ping pong around that support area. But yep. POLK markets, this one is dumped badly on KuCoin. It doesn't look like a bottom is forming quite yet, in my opinion. This was maybe close to like a bottom, or like it looked like it was close to a bottom just because like super high sell volume. I'm sorry, buy volume, and kind of like a rounded bottom, but price just wicked up higher and then just dumped even further. This is a good chart example of what it looks like to trade in 2018 and 2019. Just a slow grind down, which is different than what we saw recently. Recently, we saw this type of price action where we saw like boom, then like just boom, and then like another leg down. Whereas 2018 and 2019 was like down, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, like just like a slow grind down. As I wrote in my tweet today, I'd rather just see people just finish me off fast instead of like this slow grind down. This is like painful price action in general. It was hard to trade, but I don't see a bottom for this quite yet myself. What you want to look for is one last capitulation wick down with high sell volume, and then like some sort of like pretty quick recovery with volume. Syntropy pulling back quite a bit. This is support. My friend Crypto Capo, which you should follow him, he is like obsessed with this coin. He likes it. It looks like it should just accumulate for in this range again. This is my opinion, as it just like hangs out in like 22 to 30. This is my assumption, that it just hangs out here. I'm guessing in like the volume profile, there's just like, yeah, tons and tons of volume transacted this. So it accumulated for a long time all throughout December and February of 2020, and then just exploded up. Expecting the similar kind of, I mean, price seeks liquidity, of course, and there's probably going to be a lot of trading activity here. So expecting just price to just ping pong around here. ENJ, this coin dumped to hell. I have no opinion of it. It looks like every other altcoin. This is the type of price action that I am viewing for a lot of altcoins, to be frank and honest with you, where we saw this kind of like lower high formed right here. This is something that makes a lot of sense to me because, you know, these areas are going to be resistance, like the last, you know, these supply zones, these last up moves before big down move. These areas are always going to have resistance, in my opinion, for the most part. And if you start to see coins start to break through these resistance levels, like ENJ, like goes something like this, then I think you can start to comfortably long a lot of different other coins. Now, it's important to also distinguish which coins are strong and which coins are not. For instance, something like MATIC like made a near V-shaped reversal and then it like pulled back a little bit. Like not every coin is going to do that, of course, but if you start to see some coins like ENJ start to break these areas, then I think you can comfortably start to position yourself for some lagging coins. Radium, I think this is a great project, but the coin was, it pulled back quite a bit. There's a lot of interesting observations with charts like this. Number one, it's always good to see that these swing highs and swing lows, these almost always act as very interesting pivot points for a chart. And as you can see, like price wicked down in late February, and then it revisited this level back in late May, several months later, and it's still support. So you can generally assume that these big wicks are going to be strong support or resistance levels in the future. And of course, it depends on the amount of time spent in between revisiting that level. Like for instance, because it had been so long since that level was tested, like this should have a good reaction. Whereas if you start to see like a wick down here established in like late February, and then like it returns back to that level pretty quick, and then like pretty quick again. Like that's not as significant if those orders are getting eaten up and filled and price is revisiting that level several times in a short amount of time. Whereas because price took so long in between this level, it meant that this is like a pretty strong support area. And alternatively for radium, this swing high established back in late February, again, this was a interesting SR level. And you can see both situations, price like wicked beyond the levels like several times. But the underlying principle is still that this is a very strong resistance, this is very strong support, and these wicks actually do matter. So it would make sense to me personally that price does like form like this big range between $4 and $15 over the next few months or weeks. That rather, price should break through the 675 or 650 level though, and then kind of see this see the reaction to like 9. One thing about this chart is it's very clean. Like the price action is very clean. Like I think that it's likely that once 650 gets broken, like that's a pretty good trade opportunity in my opinion. Something like this would make a lot of sense to me. This is like a trade I would consider taking. You can move it down a little bit more. You get like a 2-to-1. And you see price kind of going up to like this VP volume profile, this high volume node area. But anyways, yeah, very interesting chart, very clean price action in my opinion. MATIC, this one was very impressive because it made a V-shaped reversal. We did not see any other altcoins like be this strong in general. Like it really strongly recovered. It did hit the supply zone, as I said before. I did a video on this several days ago where I expected this to like be a resistance area, and it was. Price has already pulled back quite a bit and had a pretty big reaction going from 250 all the way back down to 150. But overall, it's still kind of hanging around. This is pretty common price action in general. What you can see is you can see these lower highs and higher lows being formed. Like this is going to continue to consolidate, in my opinion. Like it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go higher and then just consolidate and make higher lows. And there are several ways that this can break resistance, in my opinion. One way that we can see right here is we can see price grinding up, tap this level one more time around 250, react negatively, and then go up again. This again would be pretty bullish because each reaction would be getting weaker and weaker. Additionally, another reaction that you could see here is you can see price just very slowly grind up into this area. And if it grinds up and just hangs around this area without much reaction, I feel this is pretty bullish because those orders are getting eaten up and this just looks good. Price could explode up and then it would probably promptly retrace because these big moves up usually get filled out eventually. And of course, the boring answer is that price taps it one more time and then just breaks down. Entirely possible again. Given the context of the market, this is entirely possible, but I believe that this would more happen if Bitcoin went to like 25,000 or 28 again. As you can see already with this video, I'm pretty sure that Bitcoin still leads this market, as it always has. You know, there are times when ETH kind of leads the market, but yeah, okay, so MATIC is a very interesting coin to watch as well. This coin has been arguably the strongest coin to recover since the dump and is one of the leaders. So given this is one of the strong leaders, this is the coin. This is like one of the coins to watch. In addition to a few others, I can't remember off the top of my head, but MATIC is certainly one of them. USDT, this looks, so I was pretty wrong about this as well. I thought this was just going to like continue chopping around and then explode up. To me, this didn't seem like distribution, but clearly, I was wrong. Like high sell volume, and then it just like pulled back hugely. you know, nothing else I can say. I was just wrong. Like, you know, this didn't really remind me of distribution. Distribution is like constantly selling. Like for instance, well, DOT is a poor example because DOT is accumulated back in the fall of 2020. But yeah, this just ping ponged around and then had a blow off top and then just died. As of right now, it looks like it's forming a bottom. It looks like it will. I do believe that this is like the short-term bottom, similar to Bitcoin and other altcoins, but let's just see. Would surprise me at all to see like a little bit more pullback or consolidation, move up, hit a lower high, and then do some similar stuff to what other coins are doing. 1 inch, again, I thought this was kind of just ranging before another big move. Instead, it dumped. All these coins are really going to have the same type of price action, to be frank and honest with you. What you're seeing right now is like you sell like a whole bunch of ranging, a move up, big ass dump. Now price is chopping around at the bottom. This is what the same chart that you're seeing all over the place. Personally, like my plan is like you'll see somewhere around here be like a resistance area, like a potential resistance area. And that's kind of like my overall plan for this is to like sell some coins right there and then see the reaction from there. There's going to be higher resistance levels higher too though. And this is like a prime example of like what every altcoin looks like. Every altcoin kind of looks like this. Like you saw like what I thought was accumulation. I was horribly wrong. Big market dump. And then now it's chopping around. Like many other altcoins look like this. So I won't really repeat myself for every single chart because every single chart looks like this right here. So just assume that a short-term bottom is being formed, in my opinion. Like I don't expect there to be another leg down from here. Like I think going higher and then another leg down is entirely possible, but another leg down now seems unlikely. SXP BTC, again, I did not think that this was going to dump as hard. Like this pair still looked pretty good and the EMAs were still looking okay too. Price obviously did not do what I expected and nuked all the way down. What we're seeing now is bottom potentially being formed, but as I said earlier in this video, all PTC pairs either moon very hard, doom very hard, or they just accumulate. There's like nothing really in between. And as of right now, the all PTC pairs probably will just chop around. Wow, what happened to this chart? Oh, this is okay. Never mind. This is XLM up. Never mind. Okay, different pair. Let's say that did not make any sense to me. Okay, here's what I want. XLM USDT looks okay. It's just kind of same thing as I said before, like big market dump, and now price is just ping-ponging around. 200-day EMA is holding a support for right now. Expecting price to just kind of like continue to go up and then hit a lower high and then go up. But short-term bottom is likely in my opinion. Luna looks pretty ugly, but again, 200-day EMA acting as resistance and support, mostly resistance for now. Expecting this to get flipped. Similar to other altcoins, this is just like a bottom being formed. Expecting this to go higher and then go down again. This would be an interesting area to sell. This 23K area, 23.8K. And I bet there's like some other levels if you look on lower time frames too. Like this will be the 200 EMA on the 4 hour as a resistance. Like seems like pretty likely place to sell. So yep, that's what my plan overall is. I would sell some there if you were in this. AVAX USDT, this does look like an interesting coin. I am going to probably buy a bag of this just because there's a lot of hype around this chain. I looked at this chart a lot before too and I liked it, and to me it looks like this is probably just a deviation from this range low. Like you saw some slight deviations here, on the lower time frames here, and this is just going to be a deviation here. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see something like break back in the range and then go higher, chop around. And if you did the fib, like the EQ is probably going to be like right here too. That's my guess. And let's just see. Pretty close. Pretty close to the EQ. So this is my projection, is just like it will break back in the range, come back up, and potentially hit the EQ around $30 and then pull back. But overall, I think this chain is still a pretty good one. It's pretty hyped, and I'll probably establish a long-term bag of it myself. Cake dumps to hell. This was impressive because it went negative 70%, almost negative 80% in the span of just like a month. Incredible, isn't it? It went all the way back down to like the origin of the pump pretty much, which is nuts to see. Like, you know, people never would have thought that 10 bucks would have came again for a long time, and it did, and lower. So similar to other altcoins, again, same thing. A low is being formed now, and then it should go up to like $28 and then potentially dump. AAVE, this one looks interesting. The BTC pair hit this 200-day EMA perfectly, which was awesome to see. And it hit this double top, fairly common price action here. This chart actually looks decent. It doesn't look terrible in my opinion. It hit this double top, which is obviously nasty, but many of these support levels held up. 200-day EMA held up. And then if it goes up again, we'll see the reaction again. But it does kind of remind me of, I think it's ALGO. Let me take a look. It reminds me a little bit of ALGO in the sense that I expected ALGO to break this 170 area. Like, I was pretty confident, and I was totally wrong, because that area kept getting tapped over and over and over again, and these reactions were not as strong as the initial reaction. This initial reaction, blow off top in early February, took us all the way back down to 82 cents from 180, came back up, double top, pull back to 91, and now the third time it came back up again, and price didn't really dump that hard. I thought, okay, well, maybe like this will like hold up, this will form a higher low, and then just grind up, and next test will just be awesome. Instead, it dumped really strongly down due to BTC. So this kind of reminded me a little bit of this AAVE BTC chart, though, where you saw a double top, and then you see this area getting tapped again. But anyways, I guess we'll just see if this can make another run up, but let's just see. TRX. This looks like a shit coin, as it is a shit coin, but doesn't mean it can't move. Decent fib levels here. I think that, and this looks even better with the fib because you start to see the 4-hour bodies. So like that gives more credibility to the fib in my opinion, because you don't want to see like a crazy wick. It's usually hard to see price respecting those all the time. Whereas if you start to see the bodies closer to these levels, that means, in my opinion, that these are more respected. TRX looks actually, you know, I mean, it's okay. I was more just trolling this coin before. It looks okay for right now. Hit like this kind of double top pattern and then pulled back, but these fibs are still being well respected, and price will likely just go ahead and just consolidate even more at this 200 Satoshi level. ADA looks pretty good, relatively speaking to the market. It looks to me like this area is going to get broken, 177. This to me is an interesting long opportunity. You could wait for a break there of this 175 level and probably target 190, so something like this. The problem is finding an invalidation point. I actually don't know. You could use maybe this former swing high as like an invalidation level, like price shouldn't break below. Additionally, this like other area here, like there should be some liquidity right here, consolidation area before it made this other move up. Again, it's kind of hard to find the invalidation point, and it really depends on how strong you think BTC is, because if Bitcoin goes to like 45,000, then I actually expect this to like test even higher than the $2 area myself. Like, you know, your target that could actually be closer to 230, in which case like you can have like a looser stop. But like this would give you like a good 2-to-1. Former range highs, like it shouldn't go down that low. But again, this is assuming that Bitcoin is going to go to like 45. So you should feel fairly confident in that idea. CRV, this coin dumped to shit. Nothing to say about it. It's ugly. Guessing it needs more consolidation and then another test up. CHZ, this one also dumped very strongly. It tapped the 786. This fib I drew, I did use kind of like this wick, but only because the body is fairly close to it and the levels were fairly respected. Like it gave a decent bounce on the 618 at first, and then it moved up, and then it dumped even further. But expecting more consolidation here. Not a coin I would personally buy. ZIL. Again, so this is I mean, you can already see, like, you know, this entire video I've just said that like all these charts kind of look bad. It's true. This is another reason why I was just saying that all these charts really don't look great. And like ZIL was looking okay before the dump, but this just looks like, to me, it needs consolidation. It needs something like this where it just ping pongs around. We might see it go up higher again to see like that pattern that I was kind of talking about, where we hit a lower high and then higher lows, and then price kind of starts to like consolidate. Maybe we'll see something like that. But to me, it would look good if price did something like it did in just January for some of these coins. XRP BTC, this coin actually looks pretty good, surprisingly. You saw this area here as like a sell zone, a supply zone, whatever you want to call it, around 3,700 Satoshis, and price rejected. This was an obvious sell zone looking back. And now you are seeing price consolidate and ping pong around. And it looks okay. Like this surprisingly looks pretty good. Trade opportunity might be like waiting to see this break 3K Satoshis and then fill out the inefficient move. You can see like no volume traded above that area. This looks good in my opinion. I already reviewed XLM. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoyed my video here on all these altcoins and the state of the market. Looking forward to seeing your reactions and thoughts, and thank you for watching.